Today I'm going over how to solve one-step and multi-step equations, which I know you have done before, so hopefully it'll be mainly review. Our goal here is to get the variable by itself, and we do that by doing the opposite of whatever operation is in the problem. So if we look at number 1, I want to get the c by itself, so I need to get rid of this minus 22. So the opposite of minus 22 is to add 22. And we're going to do that to both sides, because everything you do to one side of an equation, you have to do to the other so that both sides are always equal. So this is going to cancel out. We're left with c equals 76. Some people like to put a line down the middle. So if you like to do that to make sure you're not like having your left side go over to your right and that you're staying organized, that's fine. Number 2, g is on the right side, so if you are someone who likes your variable to be on the other side, you can rewrite it like this. If you want, you can just switch it around, but you don't need to. So I'm trying to get g by itself, so I need to get rid of the minus 25. So I'm going to add 25 to both sides. And 113 plus 25 is 138 equals g. That cancels. Number 3, I want the j by itself, so I'm going to get rid of this minus 87 by adding it to both sides. So we get j equals negative 3 plus 87 is 84. Number 4, this says negative 3 times r, so the opposite of times is to divide, so I'm dividing both sides by negative 3. You can write this using division symbol, or you can put like a fraction bar line to say divide. I will do it both ways, so whatever you prefer. So this negative 3 will cancel. We're left with r equals, and 39 divided by negative 3 is negative 13. Number 5, this says t divided by 7. So the opposite of division is to multiply. So you multiply both sides by 7 to get t equals negative 5 times 7 is negative 35. And remember, you can always check your answers by plugging it in. If I plug in negative 35 divided by 7, I do get negative 5. Number 6 is a little tricky. If you can simplify the problem a little bit before solving it, it's a good idea to do that. So I don't like this minus negative stuff, so I know that minus and negative is the same thing as adding, because we do keep change. Okay, so now I have this plus 5.6, so I'm going to do the opposite and subtract 5.6 from both sides. And 1.5 minus 5.6 is negative 4.1. Bring down your y. Numbers 7 through 9 trick a lot of people because they see a fraction and they freak out, but it's really not that bad. This says 2/3 times n, so the opposite of multiplying by 2/3 would be dividing by 2/3. So I'm going to divide both sides by 2/3. So we get n equals, now it's important that you write this in the correct order. We're going to go top to bottom. So they had a 10 first, so we write a 10 first. Then I have division, then I have 2/3. So don't write 2/3 divided by 10. Write it the order that they say, 10 divided by 2/3. So as a reminder, the way to divide this, we're going to change 10 to 10 over 1, change division to multiplication, and you flip your second fraction. So 10 times 3 is 30, 1 times 2 is 2, and 30 divided by 2 is 15. Number 8, again this says 2/3 times q, so the opposite would be to divide by the 2/3. When you make your q, put a little hook on the end so it doesn't look like a 9. So this says 1/2 divided by 2/3, so I'm going to write that from left to right. 1/2 divided by 2/3. So again, we keep the first fraction, change division to multiplication, flip the second fraction. 1 times 3 is 3. 2 times 2 is 4, so your answer is 3/4. Number 9, very similar to number 8, it says 4/5 times k, so I'm going to do the opposite and divide by 4/5. We get k equals, and again write it in the correct order. They have 8/9 first, then divide by 4/5. So keep the first fraction, change division to multiplication, flip the second fraction. When we multiply straight across, 8 times 5 is 40, 9 times 4 is 36. That can be reduced down to 10 over 9, which is also 1 and 1/9. So I will accept either answer, but in algebra it's actually better to have an improper fraction rather than a mixed number. But again, I will accept either one. Okay, moving on to the next page. Okay, number 10, we're going to start getting to two-step equations. So we are going to do the opposite of our normal order of operations. So normally, order of operations says do adding and subtracting last. Here we're going to do it first. So I'm going to start this minus 4. So instead of minus 4, I'm going to add 4 to both sides to get 11x equals 33. And now it's just a one-step equation. This says 11 times x, so I'm going to divide both sides by 11 because that's the opposite to get x equals 3. Number 11, instead of minus 6, I'm going to add 6 to both sides to get 2a equals 10. Then divide both sides by 2 to get a equals 5. When you have multi-step equations like this, I'd say about 80 to 85% of the time, your last step will be to divide by whatever number is in front of your variable. Number 12, we're going to start off the same way. So instead of minus 25, I'm going to add 25 to both sides to get 2/3 p equals 140. And then this says 2/3 times p, so the opposite of multiplication would be to divide by 2/3. It's just like the problems we did on the previous page. So we get 140 divided by 2/3. And I'm going to need some more room. I'm going to write 140 as 140 over 1. Change division to multiplication and flip your second fraction. 140 times 3 is 420. 1 times 2 is 2. And 420 divided by 2 is 210. So that is your final answer. Numbers 13 and 14, they trick a lot of people as well because they see a fraction and they have no idea what to do. We want to get rid of the fraction first. So what's making number 13 a fraction is this 8. So I'm going to get rid of it. So this says divide by 8. So I'm going to do the opposite and multiply both sides by 8. So we get a plus 7 is equal to 40. And now it's just a one-step equation. Subtract 7 from both sides to get a equals 33. Number 14 is very similar. I want to get rid of the fraction first. I'm going to get rid of this denominator that says divide by -2. So I'm going to multiply both sides by -2 to get n plus 1 equals -30. And then subtract 1 from both sides to get n equals -31. Number 15, I have a little bit of simplifying before I can solve it. So I'm going to do the distributive property first to get -6x plus 14. Bring down the plus 4 equals -18. Combine these like terms to get -6x plus 18 equals -18. And now it's just like numbers 10 and 11. I'm going to subtract the 18 from both sides to get -6x equals -18 minus 18 is -36. And then divide both sides by -6 to get x equals a positive 6 as your final answer. If you have any questions, feel free to email me.